And our conversation with the Indiana County Veterans Providers Group is brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. I'll get it straight here, by golly, as we're talking this morning with Emily Goodwin. Emily is with a group called Soldier On. Now, Diane Overman was supposed to be on with us, but because of the power outage, having trouble getting her. So Emily, I guess you have to soldier on without Diana today.
I guess so.
So we're going to learn about Soldier On. What is the group all about?
Soldier On is a nonprofit that serves several areas, but in Pennsylvania, we're in the 23 counties that make up the western part of the state. We serve veterans who are literally homeless and or at imminent risk of homelessness, meaning they're facing eviction or staying with family and friends and can no longer stay in that situation. And we're able to meet with the veterans and provide them with supportive case management to help them meet permanent housing goals, ultimately getting them into permanent, safe, and supportive, stable housing where they can be successful.
Well, it obviously is a huge problem, and it's good to have organizations such as yours to step in front of the issue and lead it. Been around for a while, haven't you?
We have. We've been around in western Pennsylvania for probably about 6-7 years now. Longer than that in Massachusetts, where we initially started as a homeless shelter quite a bit of time ago, and I don't want to say the wrong date, so I'm not going to, but it has been a while where we started serving literally homeless veterans in Massachusetts, and since then we've expanded to other programs, including transitional housing. We also have some permanent housing units in our other areas where we're able to house veterans for as long as they choose to stay. Typically, those units are income-based, which allows for people who are on a fixed income or maybe don't even have any income at all to afford housing that is safe, and that's a real blessing for a lot of these veterans.
One of the issues with veterans that we run into a lot is veterans are sometimes reticent to ask for help or to acknowledge that they even need help, but there are so many different resources out there to help them, and I think that's one of the vital things that Soldier On does is you're able to act as that sort of a liaison to refer them to where they need to go to find whatever help they need, correct?
We are, and really exciting thing that the VA recently implemented into SSVF providers, Supportive Services for Veteran Families, which is the grant that we operate under, is a new position called Healthcare Navigator. So we're able to take a closer look at health issues, whether it is physical, mental, spiritual health, and help connect veterans to resources that may serve them in a way that is supportive to specific needs that veterans have, which are different than the homeless population in general.
I'm looking at the number of different services that Soldier On offers: financial planning, housing counseling and searching for housing, education and employment guidance. Legal referral is a really important thing that might fly a little bit under the radar, but that is so important for veterans, isn't it?
That is. A lot of the veterans that we interface with do have at least some kind of legal issue pending, whether it is, they're facing criminal charges or even legal issues such as unfair housing practices by landlords. We're able to connect veterans with resources that may support them in resolving whatever legal issues they're facing.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so important. Now, let's talk a little bit about another area where Soldier On is leading the way, and that is temporary financial assistance. That can cover an awful lot of different categories too, can't it?
It sure can. So we're able to, I always like to preface this conversation by saying each veteran's situation is different, and we're regularly assessing and coming up with plans to make sure that we are supporting the veterans in the the most efficient way possible. But we're able to help with things such as rental arrears, security deposit, first month's rent, utility arrears, moving and storage costs. We're able to pay for beds for a homeless veteran entering housing who may not have a bed. In emergency situations where there are no other resources, we're able to pay for hotel stays. So the financial assistance covers a broad range of areas where we're able to check in with a veteran, see what their needs are specifically to them, and potentially help through paying for some costs.
Yeah, absolutely, and they are such needed services that you offer. I want to go back and talk about something you touched on a couple of moments ago, and that is health care. People might think that with veterans, VA is it, and that's the only thing that is out there for them, but that's one aspect of a very, very complex system to get health care to veterans. And again, it's one of those situations where they have to be aware of the service being available, and then they have to be willing to get into the system and get their health care needs taken care of.
Right, and I should say that a lot of the veterans that we serve aren't eligible for VA health care or have been told they're not eligible because of a discharge status. We're able to link veterans with resources to potentially upgrade a discharge status and therefore making them eligible for VA services. But there are other providers out there that we're connected with who can provide care for those veterans who can't tap into the VA. A veteran for our program is defined by anybody who has served 1 day of active duty. For reservists, they have to have deployed or federally activated. So we are seeing a wide range of individuals who oftentimes aren't able to tap into the VA, so connecting them to other providers is a big piece of what we do on a day-to-day basis.
Emily Goodwin is our guest. The organization is called Soldier On, and the website, wesoldieron.org. Emily, you mentioned, 23 counties in western PA?
That's correct.
How do you work with each of those counties? In other words, I guess what I'm asking is every county set up the way Indiana County is with the Indiana County Veterans Providers Group, or are there some counties that don't have services for veterans specifically within their government structure?
There are some counties that do have groups like Indiana County, but for the most part, the groups are larger and focus on serving homelessness in general. We do forge relationships with all of the counties we're working in, and it would be great to see more veteran-specific groups. With the rural counties that we serve, I think that because there is such a small population in general that the groups don't necessarily exist, but we are so glad to be a part of what Indiana County has created and hopeful that other counties will continue to work together to create similar groups.
So within Indiana County's structure, if somebody wants to use the services of Soldier On, would we go through Indiana County's Veterans Providers Group office, or would we go directly to Soldier On?
Either way is absolutely fine by us. We love referrals from our community partners, but we also know that sometimes a veteran doesn't want to tell their story 100 times and wants to just get straight to the provider. So if a veteran is interested in being screened for services, they can call our intake hotline. It's 1-866-406-8449. Typically a live person answers that, and then I get an email to say, hey, there's a veteran in Indiana County that is looking for services related to they're staying on the street tonight and they need somewhere to go. I assign that veteran to a case manager, and we get them screened typically within 24 to 48 hours.
That's beautiful. There are so many different issues confronting our veterans today. Homelessness is one of the really, really big ones. I know we've got the Veterans Parsonage here in Indiana County. A lot of different resources available, and Soldier On is one of the most important of those. Again, it's wesoldieron.org. Emily Goodwin has been our guest. Emily, it's been a pleasure. And folks can indeed get in touch with you. That number you gave was what? 1-866, say it again.
406-8449. And I'm happy to take direct calls too. So that number is 413-441-3857 if a veteran wants to reach out to me directly, or even a veteran's family member and just say, hey, this is what I have going on. Do you think that we can help? I'm happy to talk to a veteran.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good point, that it's not only for the veteran, but those who know a veteran or a family member of a veteran, whatever it takes to get them the help they need, right?
Absolutely.
Terrific. Emily Goodwin, thank you so much for spending time with us this morning. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Have a wonderful day today.
You too. Bye-bye.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 11.1 FM and AM 11.